are listening to the Scale with Speed podcast. Why? Because scale equals revenue and speed equals profit. Hosted by nine-figure business builders Matt Monero and Judge Graham. Enter with caution.
Welcome to the Scale with Speed podcast. I'm Matt Monero with my man, Judge Graham.
Super excited. Today is an amazing topic, too.
Dude, today is your topic.
Right. The book, right? Mastering Recurring Revenue.
Today, we're talking about how you can fix one of the biggest problems that exists in every single business, which is how do I trust my revenue? And you fix it by having recurring revenue. But, dude, you and I are busy the next couple of days. We got a strategy session with Coach Burt. He's coming into town today. We'll do the strategy session here for our Scale with Speed event that we're doing in Vero Beach.
Yeah, it's Coach Birch's mansion down there. I've never been to Vero.
Yeah, I've never been to Vero either, but should be a good time. That's in October. If you want to learn about that, go to Coach Burt, click events, and find the Scale with Speed event that we're doing. And then tomorrow we're speaking at the 8% Nation Conference, which will be weird because I don't know that there have been many 800-person or 1,000 people in-person conferences this year.
No, it's going to be interesting. I was even thinking on the way over there, like, is everybody wearing a mask?
Yeah,
Do
right.
we have to wear a mask?
Tested? Are we getting temperature? What are we doing?
So we'll figure that out tomorrow.
Right? Maybe we ought to just, make sure we stay on the stage.
Yeah, but, I'm excited, right? I mean, we haven't been able to do a live event besides the Burn the Ships, which were much more intimate, right? 30 to 40 people. But to be up and fire up, 1,000 people in an audience is going to be cool.
It's cool. Jordan Belfort's the keynote. That guy Marshall Seiler, the hypnotist from Vegas, will be there. Tim Story speaking, Coach Burt speaking. It's a whole
it's a good group.
Laundry list. But we're talking about the difference between culture and a growth culture. We believe growth culture is the movement, not just culture. Culture is important, but add growth to it, and you really get something dynamic. But today we're talking about recurring revenue because, Judge, you wrote a book, Mastering Recurring Revenue. We will put a link to it, but you can also go to Amazon for the ebook if you're interested. But you can go to Amazon, type in Mastering Recurring Revenue and buy Judge's book. Quick, easy read, but it fixes a huge problem because in the end, there are really only two types of revenue. There is recurring revenue and there is transactional.
Yeah,
right?
Project, one time.
One time.
One and done.
One, or you can count on it over and over and over. And by far, the most important of the two types of revenue is recurring revenue. And so many businesses that we talk to, Judge, really don't have a recurring revenue model figured out. They don't have a product that works. And in today's podcast, we're going to actually give you a calculator that Judge has created that we're going to give to you for free. And we're going to walk through some examples of what recurring revenue could look like in your business. But the first, I want to stress why you need recurring revenue. What are some of the reasons that the benefits for having recurring revenue? So, Judge, let's just go through it real quick.
Yeah, but before we get into that, the reason I wrote that book, the number one reason is I lost my first company and went bankrupt.
Because you were project-based.
Did not have recurring revenue. So in on paper and in theory, multi-million-dollar company, highly emphasis in web design and development. Now, also lost my way, started doing some other things. That's a separate podcast about niche. But the primary product offering was one and done. We sell it, we deliver it, it's over, right? And so what happened is we just scaled, Matt, right? We built out $1 million facility. We had 30 full-time employees. Yeah. And we took
out super fancy offices. I went to the offices. Remember when we did that field trip? All the crazy concrete walls coming down in Fort Worth. It was nuts.
Took lines of credit, right? Was winning Small Business of the Year. Just thought that this will never end, right? And it quickly, man. Every month that nut got bigger and bigger and bigger, and we couldn't keep up, right? So you're having to sell hundreds of thousands of dollars every month, every single month again, and you don't have that cushion or that repeatability. At some point the movie's over, right? And depending on how big you are is how hard the crash feels.
And what was the sort of day of reckoning there? Was it the 2008 recession that began to slow down the demand for the services?
Matt, I'm always bad on time. I just remember the feeling, right? Less the date. I truly think that as in any business, things shift, right? So we were selling websites for, $30, $40, $50, $60,000 at the segment that we were going after, which was small to medium-sized businesses. And then there was a shift with technology, right? And those small to medium-sized businesses, now we're being able to get it done for 10, 15,000.
Right.
So not only did my price and margin shrink, I had to get more volume
For sure.
because of what tech did.
Yeah.
And it just,
Yeah,
it
and
was too much.
behind it, you had adjusted the fixed expenses way up too.
Yeah, way up, right? And listen, if anybody's listening, it's really easy. You've got assets and liabilities, right? And I had way too many liabilities. But that was my wake-up call. And I said, never again, any business that I'm a part of or build has to have that piece, has to have recurring revenue, because without it, it's not a real business.
So good setup right there, because let's go through 4 things that happen when your business does have predictable recurring revenue. And I think the first thing it does is it just simply lets you sleep better.
Oh, man. Well, let's give people perspective in that, right? I mean, I was going to bed every night going, dude, I've got to sell $180,000 tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And if I don't do that, that means the next day I've got to catch up and I got to sell 225 or whatever that number was. I mean, massive anxiety, but knowing you have clients that cover 90% of your nut,
Yeah.
dude, life's great. You got to go sell 6,000 of revenue over the whole month.
Yeah. It also changes the type of business you're in, right? Because when you have substantial recurring revenue, especially above the fixed expense, the pressure on sales for your sales team isn't so great, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing that recurring revenue does for you is it helps you sleep better at night. The second thing it does is it helps you make better decisions based on your future goals. Mm-hmm. How much do we have coming in and where can we now direct it? Where can we allocate it? Versus when you don't have this nut covered every single month from a customer contracts, memberships, whatever it happens to be, you don't really know what you can do, man. Can you take out the space? Can you hire that person? Can you buy that thing? Can you try this? It's so much more difficult, right?
Yeah, I mean, the recurring revenue from a money perspective is your crystal ball.
Yeah.
Right? Without that, you're making decisions literally blind. Right? Can I get that lease? Well, I hope my sales guy doesn't get sick. Right? I hope we don't lose him to another company, right? But when you have that recurring revenue, it makes it much easier signing that 5-year lease.
Yeah. One of the biggest problems without recurring revenue is you can't trust the stickiness of the client relationship as well, right? There's no sort of
there is no stickiness. Yeah.
Right. There's no partnership really on transactions, but recurring revenue, there's a relationship that relies on both parties. And that's number 3 in the 4 that we're starting with today is it makes your client relationships more sticky, man.
Yeah, it has to, right? I mean, in the more sticky you can get, right? I mean, I used to have this analogy with our account people in my old SQ1 office, man. I think you've seen some of the pictures. I had octopi, 9-foot octopi hanging from the ceiling, right? And the story with the octopi was in the account people's area, and it was, I want you so immersed in those clients' businesses, those tentacles and what's an octopus? Is that a leg?
Wow.
Right? Tentacles and legs wrapped around that client that the idea of trying to fire us was so painful because we were integrated with the data, we were integrated with the sales reporting. We were so integrated that create that stickiness and that octopi mentality that recurring revenue, would stay.
So as if the first 3 weren't good enough reasons for you to really figure out how to include recurring revenue into your business, the 4th one should be. Because when you have real, provable, trustworthy recurring revenue, it increases the value of your company a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not impossible, but if you're a project-based company or transactional-based company, unless you have an amazing 3, 4, 5-year track record and a phenomenal sales team, and it's just like butter every month, right? And they can see that in the financials.
They're going to pay up for that.
Yeah. they're gonna pay up for that. You have to have that. I mean, if not, they're not. You can't say with confidence, I'm going into next year and we're going to make X. We believe based on last year we can make X. It's a big difference.
We're going to actually give you some examples of what recurring revenue does to a valuation here on today's podcast. So I want you to stick with us till we get to that segment. But let's talk about examples of recurring revenue, because now we've proven the case of why it matters. But let's give people fundamental reasons of what it could be for them. So, the first one is a monthly membership kind of a thing. You're producing some value to the marketplace that allows them to want to buy it from you every single month. Now, whether that's a video program, whether that's a newsletter, whether it's a newspaper, whether it's a publication, a magazine.
Amazon.
Yeah, it's a product offering on Amazon, or it's even if it's a blog that people find so much value because of the unique research that you have for them because you're an expert in their niche. People might pay you for that. And again, when we do the recurring revenue calculator here in a minute, we're going to show you what that actually looks like. That monthly membership, you might think, well, heck, man, maybe I'd only get $25 a month in a membership. We're going to show you what $25 a month on X number of accounts over 3 years times a multiple actually means for you, because you're going to be blown away by what $25 a month in a membership. Judge, take the next one.
Yeah, the other one that it's really where I've made my money in the companies is some sort of service or maintenance agreement, right? So if you look at it from a professional services, this is your retainers, this is your annual contracts, right? Think attorneys, CPAs, marketing organizations, right? You're signing a multi-year, 6-month, or a year contract for a certain amount of money that client's guaranteeing you to do based on services you're going to provide, right? Or even a maintenance agreement. So think of things like AC or electric or roof or anything like that. How can you lawn service is a great one. Landscaping is a great one. How do you put somebody in, even if it ends up being a month to month, but it's some sort of contractual, I'm going to do this maintenance or service and you're going to pay me this consistently every month.
The perfect example is for the person listening who builds websites and then you think you're done. No, dude, you need a monthly maintenance contract on top of the web build so that you're doing edits, you're updating any software, you're making some changes, and it keeps the client needing you because you're proactively helping them every single month. That's a maintenance contract for the website that you built.
100%.
Right? And then the third one, and there are others, but the three that we're outlining today is a unique piece of technology. And this has actually never been easier, dude. We're talking about it in another business in which we're going to private label a piece of tech that makes it look like our own.
We're going to build some things on top of it.
Totally. We're going to put some programming into it that not only, but the fundamental isn't being built from scratch.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're taking something out of the box and we're adding our secret sauce into it and branding it as if it is totally our own in a unique piece of technology, which makes the client relationship super sticky. You can do that.
Yeah, and then you charge for that, right? I mean, it's a monthly, let's back up a little bit, Matt. I mean, I want to, everybody and I think, Matt, we're going to give away this book for free, right? It's going to be an ebook. Check the ebook out or buy it. I believe, and Matt does as well, we don't care what business you're in. You can take one of the three things we did and you can either make it core to your current business on recurring or create something ancillary. But you must embrace this idea of recurring revenue.
Yeah. And we're going to show you the numbers here in just a second that will help justify this passion that we have for you taking the time to figure out what could I do in my business to add a recurring revenue piece.
Let me give you an example because Mitch, the guy I work out with, right? I'm wearing the shirt West Side, this Rush It. Man, I'm so sore today. But he's going to be at the next Burn the Ships, right? And he's looking at how do I really amplify my recurring revenue. So he has these cool pieces of software that shows you how much you lifted, what you should be doing or whatever. He could literally overlay a couple things, rebrand it, make it his. And for all of his clients, either one to many or who he works out with, hey, for $5 a month, you get this piece of tech, and it shows you I input it all, and it's your diet, it's your program, it's your rest, it's whatever, and it's boom, now you got $5 a month. I mean, it's we got to be thinking that way.
And what we have seen, Judge, is when people who come through the Burn the Ships boot camp, the first reaction is, well, I don't think I have unique expertise.
Right. I can't do it.
I can't do it. Or I don't think I can really sell it for a price point high enough, because we show them in the recurring revenue calculator how to do that. And then conversely to that, the people that have said, holy crap, I didn't even know I should be thinking about recurring. Now it's changing their freaking business.
Dude.
Look at the two HVAC guys that we have, Victor and Jamie.
I think the success, I mean, there's multiple things that come out of Burn the Ships, but I think one of the most eye-opening sections is this topic.
Yep.
And when we look post 3, 4, 6, 7 months, 12 months on some of the alums, they're like, my life and business has skyrocketed because I implemented recurring revenue.
The concept of recurring revenue is one of the examples of going from playing checkers to playing chess.
Yeah.
It's an example of when you do it and you get recurring revenue, you never realize that business could be as easy as it is when you have recurring revenue, because you have built a business and you're fighting cash flow every single month. You're broke on the first of the month.
And I want to jump on, like, when a lot of the people say, well, they're not going to pay for that value. Listen, you have a unique value.
Right? You do, right? You do, right?
If you don't, it's a problem.
Right.
But it may be easy for you, but other people don't understand it, so there's value there and you can charge.
Yeah.
Right? Totally. I mean, so you need to understand your unique ability, and although it may feel simple and easy for you, there's value there because the market doesn't know how to do it, therefore you can charge. But that's a confidence thing.
Yeah.
Now listen, the market will let you know the price. You go out too high, you're going to feel it.
Yeah.
You go out too low, you may not feel it. Right? But I would go high and then come down.
Yeah, dude, I was watching this video of this guy. I can't remember what his name is, but he's a commercial banker, right, on YouTube. And he runs really simple videos of banking and money allocation and using leverage. And he talks about, the video I was watching was he was showing his 3 cars and how he leverages the interest income off of the cash in the bank to pay for the car. It's a pretty straightforward, simple decision, right? But another video that popped up right after I watched that, by the way, his car payments are like $6,700 a month or something like that. To me, to be honest with you, it seemed a little bit
extravagant.
No, it seemed a little chicken shit, the whole thing. Like, I mean, I think one was like a 2013 Mercedes SL 65 AMG, and he's got a 7-year note on her side. It seemed a little.
I thought you said it was $6,700 per car payment.
No, total between these 3. It was a Porsche, it was a Ferrari, and it was a Mercedes.
Got it. I was like, damn, was it with a Bugatti?
But my point, even so, I mean, it didn't seem like any of them, the aggregate seemed like worthy of the cars.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't. But the second video that popped up, which I thought was very interesting, and this is what I like about this cat. He literally runs the numbers as they exist in his life. So he said, how much do I make every time YouTube pays me for 1 million views on his videos? Okay. I think he has about 100,000 subscribers. Every episode gets somewhere between, say, 50 and 200,000 views. He showed the screen, the YouTube screen, of when it hit 1 million, how much did he make? He makes $18,000 a month. On 1 million views. So every time he has an aggregate of 1 million views, he's getting a check for $18,000 a month. So whatever that is,
God bless America.
220, 230,000. Now let's not forget, this guy's a commercial banker at a bank, right? But
it's a side hobby.
He figured out a way to get some version of recurring revenue by leveraging what you were talking about, which is the knowledge. Now, what's the knowledge, dude? He's not the most famous commercial banker. He's not the CEO of Bank of America. He's a commercial banker in Southern California. And he's making 18 big ones a month by getting 1 million views on YouTube, okay? So let's get into what we promised you, which is the actual numbers. Now, Judge, I've run these out, but people can go to burntheships.com, click resources, and get their hands on this actual calculator.
Yeah, it's a piece of tech. It literally, you don't leave the website. You just pop it in, and it shows you.
So I'm going to walk you through it again. It's burntheships.com. Click resources, upper right-hand corner. The recurring revenue calculator that Judge built will pop right up, and just start putting in your own numbers. But we have 3 examples that we've done for you today, so you have an idea of what this looks like. So, Judge, if someone created a recurring revenue product for $25 a month,
Seems reasonable.
Seems fair. The million ways to get that.
Right. It's less than 2 Starbucks.
Yeah.
Or 3 Starbucks, whatever.
So they they recruited 100 people a month as clients.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course of a 3-year deal.
Yeah, so by year 3,
that $25 at 100 clients a month equates to $90,000 a month in guaranteed recurring revenue, or $1,080,000 a year on a $25 product sold to 100 people over a 3-year period of time.
Yeah, now the one thing in here is you got to get 100 every month and you're not losing any.
For sure.
But can you come up with a $25 product? Is there value enough for 100 people? Dude, could you use an extra 90 G's a month?
Sure. Now, wait till we sum this whole thing up, because we're
Right.
going to put a valuation to your business
Yep.
off of the recurring revenue here at the end. The second product that we ran the example on is a $99 a month program. Right? Well, I don't know, whatever it is. You're selling recurring revenue of $99 a month, and even let's just say you built an inexpensive website and you're charging $99 for maintenance, and all you're doing is once a month you're logging onto the back end, or you're looking at the dashboard to see that everything's running fine.
Right.
Okay? That's not paying for edits. You're not doing any design work. You're just looking at tech that that WordPress offers you to see that all the updates are there. Okay? 100 people a month. At the end of 3 years, you're generating $346,000 a month, or $4.15 million a year. Again, a $99 product, 100 people a month, over 3 years equals $4.1 million in recurring revenue.
Amazing.
Now let's go just a little bit bigger. We're not doing $2,000 a month recurring revenue things. We're talking, the next one is a $249 a month program. Okay. You're selling your university. You're selling your training program. Your whatever,
Live coaching via Zoom.
right? Or your monthly maintenance contract on the air conditioning unit that you just installed.
Right.
Okay. Or the what's it called? The weed thing where you prevent the weeds. Whatever the weed treatment, or the fertilizer in the beginning of the spring, and the weed killer, or whatever. It's $249 a month. 100 people a month for 3 years. It's $896,000 a month, or $10,700,000 a year. Now let's go to the fourth example of what it looks like from a valuation standpoint. Because if you applied a 6x multiple just to the recurring revenue piece, Judge, I'm not talking about the other revenue that the company is, right? Which you would probably be able to hold the 6 because you're not going to break it out.
Yeah.
On that last deal of $10,700,000 a year at a 6 multiple, your company has a valuation of $64,512,000.
Yeah, if it's off the rev. Yeah, it's crazy.
If it's off the recurring revenue at a 6x multiple. So you spent X number of days, weeks, months creating a product that you sold for $249. You sold 100 a month. In 3 years, you have a company, if a 6x valuation is what you can pull, and we believe you could pull it, is worth $64 million.
Crazy.
Maybe it's worth taking time to think of recurring revenue.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it is. I mean, I always use the example. We live in Texas, right? I use this example all the time. There's snakes, right? I hate snakes. And if somebody came up and they were called snake prevention guy or something, and literally came to my house and said, for $50 a month, or hell, $100 a month, we're gonna come every month, or once a quarter or whatever, and we treat the yard to prevent snakes coming in.
So that when your kids are running barefoot,
right,
with
or
their
your
buddies,
wife, or you're going
or
taking
your
the
dog,
trash, or the dog, or whatever, we're keeping the snakes out. Dude, that's a home run. And then could you get a sales force that door knocks and do some online advertising, and can you get to selling 100 of those a month in Texas? I think so, right? Now you're $4 million business off of an idea to prevent snakes.
Yeah. That's the message for today. Now, I just want to finish this because the podcast is called Scale with Speed, and the product that Judge and I sell is the Burn the Ships Bootcamp. And the reason that it's called Burn the Ships is because there does come a point where you have to get rid of Plan B. So maybe this is the point. Maybe you've listened to today's podcast and you've said, I have to burn the ships of my transactional project-based business and I have to recreate it in a recurring revenue model. And 3 years down the road, you call Judge and I and say, man, I listened to that one podcast. I burned the ships. By the way,
boot camp.
You should come to the boot camp because we go deeper in this in the boot camp. And I just exited for $64 million. Yeah. Just like you guys told me.
I'd love that call.
Dude, we would love that freaking call, man. Those are the things that we do it for. So we encourage you to do what we're telling you to do. Figure out a way to add a recurring revenue element to your product offering or your service offering. Start small, start big, it doesn't matter. Because what Judge, you said earlier is the big piece of this. If you can't create something of value that the marketplace would buy, that's an area you need to dig into and figure out.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
So we hope you liked it. Let's give you some tools. Burntheships.com, click resources. That gets you the recurring revenue. Go to Amazon, type in Judge Graham Mastering Recurring Revenue, buy the book. Judge, do you know what the ebook is off of your, do you know off the top of your head where you get the ebook?
It's on Amazon too.
The ebook is?
Yeah, but we're going to drop it in the
comment section?
Yeah, on Facebook we will. But yeah, the ebook you can buy on there as well.
Okay, cool. I want to throw one other thing out there. Judge is speaking at RP1, the marketing company that I'm involved in Keller, Texas, on Wednesday, September 30th at what we're calling the Whiskey Wednesday. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you want to come to that, come to the RP1 event. Go to rp1.com, sign up for the event. It's Wednesday, September 30th. Judge will be the guest speaker talking about mastering recurring revenue. We're calling it Whiskey Wednesday. You come on, drink some whiskey on us, and have some fun. That's it for today, big guy.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think the other last plug we always do, burntheships.com. Hit that boot camp. It's time to burn them, right? I mean, it's time. Let Matt and I take your company to the next level. You got an idea. You don't have the plan. We can get it for you.
I'm going to need the audience to help me, and you too, Judge, talk me off the roof on this one, because I'm so sick and tired of people allowing $4,000 to the cost of the boot camp to get in the way of coming to the boot camp. It's driving me crazy.
It's 100% guarantee.
Dude, it's 100% guaranteed. No one's ever asked for it. You could spend $4,000 and come to our boot camp and turn it into $4 million in a year.
Yeah, well, people are doing it.
But it just frustrates me when people are still afraid to spend money when we've done everything we could. There's dozens of testimonials on the website. It's 100% money back guarantee. There is absolutely no lose for you. And still some people still won't pull
that's the concept, right? We don't teach mindset. I mean, you have to know you're ready and you've had enough.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's a personal preference, right? You deserve more. The idea is, are you willing to do what it takes to get more?
Yeah, that's the key. All right, guys, appreciate you being with us. Judge, take us out.
As always, make it happen.
Make it happen. See you next time.
You are listening to the Scale with Speed podcast. Why? Because scale equals revenue and speed equals profit. Hosted by 9-figure business builders Matt Monero and Judge Graham. Enter with caution.